What's up, y'all? I gotta address this issue that I've seen floating around on the internets past couple of days, and this is this conspiracy theory, I guess you could say, that the NFL is defrauding its fans and the public by rigging games for the Chiefs to win, so that they can put Taylor Swift on television more often. Now, anyone that knows me knows I'm down for a good conspiracy theory. Let me hear it. Let me hear it, at least. Maybe I'll debunk it. Maybe you'll come up with something that makes sense, and I won't be able to tear it apart. But I'm all ears. Let me hear it. So, I got to start this off by saying, as a Raider fan, you see I'm wearing the silver and black, all right? The NFL, the referees, have shown disfavor toward the Raiders, to put it politely, over the years. From instances like the Immaculate Reception, the Tuck Rule, which is the most egregious ruling in sports history, which they had to go back retroactively and change the rule because they made such a bad error like they've done so many other times over Raider decisions. The index card game, the referee decides to pull out an index card to measure a first down, which has never been done in NFL history, football history as I've ever known, and never seen it done since, but yet it was done to screw the Raiders out of a first down. But I digress. I don't want to blame the referees for the Raiders' mishaps over the past several years. The Raiders have blown lots of draft picks, like lots of Hall of Fame guys go, like Larry Fitzgerald, in exchange for guys like Jamarcus Russell. All right. I don't want to get into that. That would be a separate video about why it's not the NFL's fault that the Raiders are terrible. That being said, I know that the refs are out to screw us. Not every game, but there's refs out there that hate the Raiders. There's owners that hate the Raiders. And I don't think the commissioner likes the Raiders. So that's why I say you got to win by 30. Bill Belichick had that mentality. We're going to pour the points on and beat the crap out of you. Who cares about sportsmanship? This ain't peewee ball, all right? You're getting paid, take the whooping, but we ain't going to leave the score close and leave it up to potentially bad calls by the referees to cost us the game. And that's what you do when you don't put the pressure on and learn how to beat people badly and not leave the game in the hands of the referees. Now, it's not going to happen every time, but that needs to be your mentality so that you don't end up in these situations where one or two calls that go one or two ways is going to swing the outcome of the game against you. Now, consistency. Why do the Chiefs win? Let's look at the Raiders. 13 coaches over the past 22 years. That's the last time the Raiders went to the Super Bowl. Changing coaches every 1.7 years. The Chiefs, 5 coaches. Changing coaches every 4.4 years. Now, a lot of you other people out there with your other teams, you know what I'm talking about. Every year or year and a half, it's time to fire the coach, the offensive coordinator, the defensive coordinator, or all three of them. And you're starting over. You're not just moving in one guy and promoting a better guy. You're bringing in a whole new slate of guys, a whole new playbook. You're changing everything. And then you wonder why it doesn't work. After a year and a half, you barely got any chemistry going. You don't have the same set of guys from the first year to the next year, 0.5 year, and you're already ready to fire everybody and move on again. That's why your teams lose. That's why the Raiders lose. Inconsistency. Don't hate the Chiefs. Be more consistent. So, all right. I know what y'all are going to say. All right. They got their stars. They like Andy Reid. They like Patrick Mahomes. Brady's gone. Hey, before Brady, I'm going to let y'all youngins out there know a little something. In the Nathan Shepard era of football, there was this guy called Joe Montana. And if you looked at him funny, flag coming out. Can't hit Joe. What are you doing? What are you hitting, Joe? Throw him out of the game. Another flag. You can't argue. You do not hit Joe Montana. We don't touch Joe Montana. Joe Montana is sacred. He's special. We need him to sell tickets to the entire league for all the rest of the games. That was a mentality people like me had, a lot of other people like that had. And I'm willing to admit, I think there are some referees and some owners that they do fall in love with these stars. And they will call them their games their way. It happens more often in the NBA. You want to look at Prince LeBron, for example. He's known for, where's the call, man? Where's the call? Huh? What? You throw the flag, man. Throw the flag. I'm sure he said the same thing in football. Blow the whistle. Y'all know what I mean. I remember it was a game. I think it might have been a Christmas Day game. They're going up against Kobe. Kobe's on LeBron. I think it was Kobe. That's how I'm remembering the story. But that's how I'm going to remember it to retell it right now. And LeBron makes some move and he gets checked, little old school, not what would get whistled for a foul in the old school, but is what they would call a ticky-tack foul these days. A little ticky-tack foul. And LeBron looks over like, where's my whistle, man? And the ref's like, nah, man, it's Kobe, man. You got to earn it, man. You can't get no whistle for that against Kobe. What do you think this is? That being said that to say this, basketball is a derivative of football. We know it's like a son or younger brother, if you will, of football. And so a lot of these things carry over. So yeah, you did see Tom Brady. Where's my flag, man? Come on, man. He touched me. What are you doing? You see Mahomes. He'll flop a little bit. The flopping. That's where they invented that stuff. That call. Flopping came from Vladdy Divac. It was a term invented by Shaquille O'Neal because he said Vladdy Divac is flopping around like a fish trying to get calls. Now, there was a time, and you call it, and it happens in football too. It's you're trying to draw the foul, draw the contact. There is a such thing as trying to get your opponent to commit a penalty. All right. But then there's another thing to turning something that is not a penalty and trying to turn it into a penalty because you flop back, make some noise, you scream, oh! Make some type of little, you sound like a girl getting hit in Mortal Kombat. That's what it sounds like. But they do this stuff to try to get calls, and to the ref's fault, it does work. Sometimes they get fooled, but hey, this is going back. Reggie Miller used to do crap like this. You know what I'm saying? You had what was the guy's name? What was the guy's name? Anyway, I don't even like to remember all the floppers because there's a lot of them out there. Anyway, you see these people doing this stuff. Quarterbacks, you will see receivers and stuff try to do some things sometimes to try to get a call. Defensive backs. I don't like it, but I don't think that these type things are changing the outcomes of games. If they are, you're not winning by enough points. You're not running an effective enough offense, nor an effective enough defense to where you can allow a guy like Mahomes to flop and cost you the game. That's my opinion. I think I'm in the majority on that one. But it happens. It happens. I will give it to you all to say that. Now, let's go back to the bigger conspiracy is that it's not just the referees. It is the NFL that is doing this. Now, who is the NFL? We got to ask our questions. NFL it's a private corporation. Pardon me. 32 owners, and there's a board of directors. Sorts, they got Roger Goodell, the commissioner. I'm no fan of Roger Goodell. I can't wait for him to retire. Big fan of Paul Tagliabue. I thought the league ran its best when Tagliabue was running it. And Goodell came and started screwing stuff up to try to favor certain teams, like putting terrible games on Monday Night Football, Sunday night, and other nights. And you see that they've slowly had to go back to doing the flex games, which Tagliabue invented. they came up with that a couple decades ago. But, when the NFL finds out that it's not working, putting these sad games on prime time, people don't want to see that. They want to see some good football, regardless of what market it is. See some good football, see some solid players. Then they decided to slowly revert back to that. But what this conspiracy is saying, that these 32 owners, all of which own a team, are conspiring so that one of them wins potentially 3 years in a row. 32 guys want one to win, or let's say it's just a slight majority. So there's 17 teams that want the Chiefs to win, and the other 15 teams are getting screwed. That's what these people want us to believe. Because the NFL is owned by the owners. And these owners, even though they're billionaires, these billionaires are not competitive enough to want to win the Super Bowl themselves. These billionaires would much rather one team win it every year, because they think that they're somehow going to make more money that way. Because I think we can all admit, whether it's greed or paranoia or whatever, you've got to have something to get to $1 billion. That's a certain drive. You're going to block out the other noise, and you're going to stay focused on the way you make money and grind it out to get beyond the 10 billion or 100 billion or so these other guys got. You're going to get to $1 billion. So you're trying to convince me that these billionaire grinded out guys have decided that now that they've gotten to this level of billionaire, they are not compared about being, they don't want to be competitive anymore. They just want to own an NFL team and go out of their way to rig this corporation they're a part of to have the illusion of competitiveness, but they're really just trying to make it so the same team or few teams win every year. So let's go a little further down that rabbit hole. All right, I like that one. If they're going to do that and they're greedy, at least some of them, right? And the ones that ain't greedy are paranoid. So these guys here have decided that in order to maximize their profits, they're going to rig it so a team in Kansas City, Missouri wins all the time. Last time I checked, the most populated metropolitan area in the country was New York City. Number 2 was Los Angeles. I didn't look up where Kansas City falls. I don't think it's in the top 10. Maybe it's in there if you want to throw in the surrounding areas. Kansas City's a big city. But population-wise, I mean, you're talking about New York, talking L.A., talking Chicago, talking, I'd have to see where Boston, Philly, Miami, Dallas fall. But you would think if you're trying to rig it and you're greedy, you're going to try to juice this lemon for all it's got. So, you most likely would want to rig it so that the Giants and the Jets are good every year, right? It's the largest market. They're going to make the most money. Most fans, most T-shirts, most money. Plus, that's where all the money is, in New York and L.A., so you can run the prices up on these New Yorkers and Californians because they have all the money anyway, right? So, why is it that the Giants and Jets suck? And they don't just suck right now. They've gone through long periods of sucking. Now the Giants have gotten it together and pulled off some Super Bowl wins. I'm a closet Giant fan. I mean, the Raiders are terrible and the Giants are good. Yeah, I'll pull for the Giants. And it's been easy to do that over the past couple of decades because the Raiders have sucked over the past couple of decades. So, come playoff time, I pretty much always have to pick somebody else. That being said, it ain't usually the Giants. Why? Because the Giants aren't usually a top Super Bowl competitor. And the Jets are worse. Now, they make moves, and every single year the Jets will make one trade for one player, and every Jets fan in America will say that the Jets are going to win the Super Bowl. It doesn't matter who we got. We got Aaron Rodgers. We got Mark Sanchez. Marky Sanchez. I said it when it comes out. He said he's got a good squad of receivers, got a good defensive coach, and everybody thinks that Mark Sanchez is a good quarterback. And just like I said, as the rest of that team fell apart around him, so did Mark Sanchez. But you saw how much they hyped up the Mark Sanchez deal. Did that result in a Super Bowl win? No. Did it result in a Super Bowl appearance? No. They made it to the AFC Championship game, got dealt with by the Steelers. All right? So, this idea that they're rigging things to make certain teams good to make more money, that just doesn't add up. Now, let's go to L.A. They didn't even have a team in L.A. for several years. Raiders left, Rams left. All right, so that was it seemed like, a decade or so? All right. This probably was longer than that. You go back, late 90s, the St. Louis Rams. The Rams moved to St. Louis. Raiders moved back to Oakland. And then it wasn't until mid-teens that you got the Rams moving back. Now, NFL's rigging it. You would think they're rigging the Super Bowl to get New York and LA together, since they're so powerful and they're rigging all these football games. There's never been a New York LA Super Bowl ever. In all these years. There's never been the Giants or Jets versus Raiders or Rams in LA. Never happened. In all the years it did happen, what do we have? We go back here. Back in 1968. Yeah. 68 team, 69. The Jets. New York Jets played Baltimore. Okay, yeah, Baltimore's a big city. It ain't LA, it ain't Cali. It wasn't back then. All right. Then we got the LA Rams. They played Pittsburgh. LA Raiders played Washington. We got the New York Giants. They're playing the Boston market team, New England Patriots. Then another one, Giants against the Boston team 4 years later. Then once they move the Rams back, the Rams get to the Super Bowl. Let's just say they rigged all the whole thing. Sean McVay's no good. Aaron Donald's no good. Let's go on and on. All Matthew Stafford. All those guys are really no good. The NFL rigged all that. And they got the rigged up Rams team to play the Patriots. And that was actually Jared Goff. They lost that one. So the Boston market team. Once again, so maybe they're trying to get some basketball fans to that. And, they were going back 7-11. They're trying to get the baseball fans by having the Giants play the Patriots. And then we got the basketball fans they're trying to appease there by putting the Rams against the Patriots. And then I don't know what they were thinking, because when they rigged it up for the Rams to win, they put them against the Bengals. So I guess you're saying the Bengals weren't really good. And that year, they hated Patrick Mahomes. And they rigged it for the Bengals to beat him and then go and lose to the Rams. So that's how they rigged that one up. But they're doing a terrible job, in my opinion, of rigging up these big market games to make the most money, because that's what will make the most money, and they're not doing it. I mean, there's New York and LA team fans all over. I'm a Raider fan. I haven't been to Oakland in 3 decades, all right? I'm from Louisville, Kentucky, all right? So there's fans of these teams all over. So that's Cali. Let's span it out. They're just going to rig it up so New York teams face Cali. There's 3 New York teams. There's 4 California teams, or 3 right now, but there has been over the time 4 California teams, and we'll do 3 right now. So they have all these pickings to stick these New York and California teams together to make the most money, right? Because most fans are probably fans of a New York or California team. You could probably get close to 40% of the NFL fans, because a lot of the also fans out there are fans of these New York, California teams, right? These people that live in places where there is no team, they kind of choose the big market team. A lot of people, like I said, hey, I guilty as charged. They've never, ever, in the history of the Super Bowl, had a Super Bowl where a New York team is playing a California team. You think it'd be pretty easy to do, right? Raiders, Rams, 49ers. Yeah, the Chargers, yeah, they got there. But the Chargers, they're there too. You could rig that up as well. Buffalo Bills, 4 years in a row, the Buffalo Bills went to the Super Bowl. They couldn't stick one Cali team in there to maximize profits? What kind of idiots are these running the NFL? They must not know anything about making money. They must not know anything about getting TV ratings. Let's see. If you look at Nielsen's top 10 rated programs of all time, and this is by viewership. This is when they look at it by person. 9 of the top 10 programs are NFL games. The only other one in there is the final episode of MASH. You want to go to the top 20? You're looking at 19. Or sorry. All top 10 are NFL games, and you got to go to the top 20. 19 of the top 20 of the top most viewed games, according to Nielsen, are NFL Super Bowl games. You go into the one program was the final episode of MASH in those top 20 television programs. This is all your Seinfelds. This is your Grammys and your Emmys and your Oscars and all your phony Hollywood awards they give away. This is your inaugurations and your coronations and your queens and duchess and princes and royal weddings and blah, 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 blah. And the NFL smokes them all with these idiots that can't even put together a New York, California Super Bowl. They're too stupid to figure that out. Now you look at ratings. Percentage of household. Now, you got to go back in the days when there's only 3 TV channels. Competition is much stiffer. However, regardless, whether there was 3 TV channels or 3,000 like there is today, top rated programs. 4 of top 10 NFL Super Bowl games. 15 of top 20 NFL Super Bowl games. So these morons, they can't figure out how to maximize profits by rigging up a New York, California, or a New York, LA, better yet, Super Bowl, are still beating pretty much everybody else. Now, these extremely crafty guys out there have been accused of choreographing games. That's the most ridiculous. Let me go down that rabbit hole. The NFL is choreographing games. They're choreographing spectacular catches versus dropped passes that were easy. They're choreographing the wind blowing. Gust of wind during a planned field goal kick. I'm wondering the people that are figuring this stuff. They're choreographing passes, getting picked. I mean, it's all these guys know. Well, we're gonna drop back, and you're gonna miss the block, and then you're gonna make a play on the quarterback, but he's gonna throw you on your ass, and then you're gonna go down, and you're gonna be injured, and then he's gonna rocket the ball 60 yards down the field to a receiver who's going to dive out and catch it with one hand. All right, y'all got that? Y'all remember that? Because you remember it because we got another 192 plays for you guys to memorize here. All you guys, you've got to remember every route you're supposed to run. You got to remember every injury you're going to have. You got to remember every single block that you're going to miss, every hold that you're going to make or not make. You guys, you got to remember all that because we're choreographing these games. Which leads me to ask the question. When are they choreographing these games? Now, we know they practice, and those practices, not all of it, but it's open to the public. A lot of you could see, and there's millions of people who've been in and out of these practices as players, as media, as coaches, as equipment people. When are they choreographing the games? To choreograph stuff, as I remember, I mean, I was in a play one time. It wasn't a lot of dancing, thankfully, but we had a couple of choreographed little things and lines to remember. We all had to get together and practice. Like, we didn't have, like, all right, I was a Pirates of Penzance. The Pirates are going to practice, and then the cops are going to practice, and then we're going to have the royalty people practice over there. And it's like, well, yeah, they did. We broke up into separate, but at some point we had to come together and get the whole play together. We had a final rehearsal, dress rehearsal, and then we did the actual play. When is all this stuff going on? When are they moving the 50-something players from each team together to get all this choreographed? When is that happening? Because I'm sure the media people who get paid some of the millions of dollars to tell everybody else what these teams are doing, I mean, how these teams are doing, whether a guy is depressed or whether he has an injury, how his injury is doing, how is his ankle, what kind of injury is it, does he have a concussion, how did he test out today, how much did he practice, was he limited in practice, did he have a full practice participation, did he sit out the practice, is he going to play, there's people get paid lots of money to find out all these information. However, the NFL is able to somehow get all these people secretly together to choreograph the game and get the rehearsal down before game day, and then get everybody back home without, I mean, nobody knows. Equipment people don't know. None of their family members know. Nobody knows all this choreography is going on. And nobody leaks it. Millions of players in and out of the NFL over the years. And nobody's ever been get anybody to leak this story. It's amazing. There's NFL players that have gone broke. Literally, on the street. NFL players that are working at Walmart and stuff. You think, come on, man, why are you working at Walmart? Just call up the New York Times and tell them I'm going to leak the story about how we choreograph NFL games. How we rig NFL games. How they tell us what the outcome's going to be. Call them up. Call them up. Get paid, brother. Why are you working at Walmart when you could just leak to the NFL? You could just leak to the New York Times. Oh, well, they signed an NDA. Well, people break NDAs all the time. Ask Donald Trump about that. Ask Stormy Daniels. You break the NDA. You can break an NDA sometimes if it's better for you to break the NDA. If you're working at Walmart or you're committing some petty crimes because you used to be an NFL player and now you got no other skills, or you think you got no other skills, you think that's what you got to do, you're not going to break an NDA to leak a story and just bust the NFL for all these years and years of fraud? Why not? I mean, I find it hard to believe that some of these people, especially once they get strung out on drugs, I mean, you're telling me that these cracked out, doped up, messed up, whatever, are thinking, man, I can't break the NDA though. I can rob, steal, I can commit all kinds of crimes, fraud, embezzlement, but I'm not going to break my NDA to the NFL as to how they choreograph games. I mean, that's a lot to believe. That's a lot for me to believe. Now, I don't want to be the person that comes off sounding that everything is legitimate. Are there crooked referees sometimes? Yes. Yes, we know that. They've been caught. I've played against crooked referees. West Memphis, Arkansas. I had to beat the crooked referees. They just changed the rules. 2 seconds in the lane. Rules 3 seconds in the lane. Teed you up. Can't talk back to me. He's 2 seconds in the lane. What are you going to do? Coach start yelling at us. Hey, man, it's 3 seconds in the game. Teed him up. Threw him out of the game. What are you going to do? What did the assistant coach tell us? You guys are going to have to play with 2 seconds in the lane. And that's what we had to do to get the win. Because we won. They thought they could beat us. They thought they could rig us up so the coach's son could get the shine. Nah. So yeah, there's crooked refs. I know there's crooked refs. I had to compete against them myself, as well as the other team. All right? There's crooked players. You could fix a player, drop a pass, make a bad play, make a bad call. I think you can even fix a coach, even though I've never really seen any evidence of it. I sometimes think some of these coaches have got to be getting paid to make as dumb a calls as they make. Like, seriously, we can go back, look at Marshawn Lynch, Super Bowl call. Dumb call. I think Pete Carroll took the call. Yeah, I'm not saying that just because I'm a Raider fan and we hired him. I think Pete Carroll took the heat for the offensive coordinator. It's a dumb call to not just run the ball. But then we see the Ravens. We go back just a few days. I said it during the game. You got Derrick Henry for a reason. But what happens? You're going to get here in the Super Bowl, in the playoffs, and you're not going to run the ball again. You didn't run the ball when you had Mark Ingram. You didn't run the ball back there when you're running with J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards. And you still ain't running the damn ball when you got Derrick Henry. That's why they have hats that say run the damn ball. And even though they have this whole run the damn ball theme, you still can't get these so-called genius coaches like Harbaugh to know that you need to run the damn ball when you have one of the best running backs in NFL history, football history, best running quarterback and passing quarterback in football history. He's such a threat that you don't even need to pass the ball because they know he could pass the ball. So they got it. They can't just bring everybody in the box because they know Lamar can hit them downfield. So what the hell are they abandoning the run for? But you saw it. The Ravens do it a lot. What happens when the Ravens don't abandon the run? Oosh, they win a Super Bowl. Holy shit. All right. Ravens, we see the Bills. Bills very effective in that game against the Chiefs. Once you start going to the air too much, you're opening the game up for too many variables. And a guy like Steve Spagnuolo, chief defensive coordinator, he knows that. He knows that. Guy's got 5 rings. Might have more as some kind of an assistant before, but he's got 2 as a coordinator with the Giants, and then 3 with the Chiefs. All right, so he's about to get another ring, presumably, if the Eagles don't do what? If the Eagles don't abandon the run. The Eagles got to run the damn ball, all right? You see it. They got Saquon Barkley. They've got Jalen Hurts. One of the most devastating running teams and offenses in decades that we've seen. I mean, their team looks like they're going back to the days of Lombardi. But what did they do in this game here? They came out trying to lose the game. That's right. The Eagles tried to lose the game against Washington because they kept passing the ball. Oh, well, we got to get this guy some touches. We got to get this guy some shine. Screw all that, man. You got to win the game. Now, luckily, the Eagles got it together, and you see what happened once they started pouring it on. They put up 55 on them. They could have put up 95 points on them if they just run the ball the whole game. Baltimore, just like Philly, had the ability this season because of the talent, the unique talent they have at running back, and the way their teams are built, that they could have run over anybody. And we really should have seen those two teams in the Super Bowl as a test of run defenses. with 4 to 8 passes per game. That's really all you need with teams that can run the ball that well. But they abandon the run. And so what happens when you abandon the run? You let guys like Steve Spagnuolo ruin you. He ruins your quarterback. He confuses you. Belichick used to do the same thing. I'm going to rush one guy. I'm going to rush 3 guys. I'm going to rush everybody from this side and drop these back into a zone. I'm going to blitz the strong safety. I'm going to pull 2 linebackers and put them back into zone. You don't know what the hell he's going to pull on you, man, but you got to know he's going to do something. And you know what stops that crazy stuff? Running the damn ball. When you're shifting defenders all over the place trying to do crazy stuff to confuse the quarterback, if you audible back to a run, you just hands off, you let your lineman get out there and just boom, and just knock them dudes over, and that's how you bust them big runs. I mean, I've seen it for years. You ask Saquon, you ask guys like Marshall Faulk, you got ask guys, Le'Veon Bell. He was great at hitting the hole, great at letting the line develop, and then just bang, knows when to go. That whole thing is an art, and it gets taken out when you just start chucking the ball around because you're like, oh, that's what you have to do in today's NFL. You have to throw the ball 85% of the time and read a stupid chart so you know when to go for 2. Bull crap, all right? That's not the way that you need to call a game, all right? That's not what these $1 million coaches should be out there doing. If you got to read a stupid chart to know what to call, fire this guy. Why is he making millions of dollars? We can just draw up a John Madden football algorithm and tell you what plays to call. What the hell are we paying this guy for if he's got to read a damn chart to know when the hell he's supposed to go for 2? Ridiculous, man. But let's get back to this conspiracy theory that despite all these mishaps and dumb decisions that these coaches make, they're making them all so that the other team can win. And they can get fired. Now, I already hear the argument coming. But Nate, they're making millions. It doesn't matter. They're going to get fired. They're going to go back to their old team or some other place and have tens of millions of dollars in the bank and be a coordinator and sit around and wait for another job. Right. Correct. However, none of them want to be fired. They all want to win and be head coaches where they are and receive all the accolades and get a raise from the team that they're at and start farming out coaches and get their own little thing going the way Belichick had it going and the way Andy Reid's got it going where you can shuffle his own assistants in and out and they go and make their little money and they come on back. That's what they want. They're not out there trying to lose on purpose, but that's what they want us to believe. These coaches are making these boneheaded decisions not because they're stupid and they just happen to coach the right player like Adam Gase, and you get not 1 but 2 head coaching jobs when you're the moron that just happened to be on the right team as Peyton Manning at the right time. Not that. It's that Adam Gase is actually a genius, but he made all those dumb decisions on purpose just so teams like the Chiefs could win the Super Bowl multiple years in a row. That's what we're led to believe by these people. I don't think anyone who's ever led people, I've led 150 people at once. That was the most. Led a software store, 11 people at most. I ran sales floors before, up to 40, 50 people or so at a time. Restaurants, led groups of servers, whatnot. I've been in leadership positions here and there. I never led a football team. It's got to be a great honor, but it's also got to be very frustrating because I know how hard it is to get people to do their job. Now, I was trained by some very talented U.S. Army veterans as to how to get people to do their jobs. So I adopted a lot of their tactics. And I see these successful coaches, your Bill Belichick, your Andy Reid, they'll adopt some of these tactics as well. Whether they're hardliners or whether they're more of a player's coach type guy like Andy Reid, they still have some of these things that they do in order to influence the people that they're leading in order to do what they're supposed to do. It's not always easy. A lot of times it takes a lot of getting people that want to do what they're told, that they're not just interested in getting a paycheck or getting attention, or sometimes they're just there just for an accolade or a certificate or just to say they had the experience. They're not necessarily trying to be the best. So when you're someone like me, and like a lot of these people that are competitive, they want to be the best. You want to win the Super Bowl. You want to have the top accolades. You want to at least make the playoffs and be competitive towards the Super Bowl, right? And show that you're making progress towards such. Now, it's difficult enough when you're out there trying to get these people to do the right thing to win, which what they're all allegedly there to do, right? Going in, you think that you're going out there to win, right? Before you learn about the conspiracy to rig all the games. So you, not only are these players, like I said, it takes a lot of timing and precision to get stuff like this. It never led a football team, but I did do a lot of drill and ceremonies. It takes a whole lot of timing to get large groups of people to move and act in precision. It's not something that happens overnight. It's not something that happens over a week or even over a month. It takes at least a few months to get people in line, in step, in coordination, seeing eye to eye, get it where they're all thinking the same thing, all acting as one in coordination. That takes a lot of time. Whether you're running a retail store or marching a platoon of troops or leading a basketball team, football team, a sales floor, it takes time to get all these people, this group of people working together. They call it chemistry. So what these people want us to believe that says that the NFL is choreographing and fixing these games is that all of these people, these hundreds of players, thousands of people, including the coaches, are all working in unison to get these desired outcomes done. They're just waving the magic wand and getting it all done. I would guess that anyone that thinks that has probably never really led anyone in their lives. They probably don't even have kids to think that you're just gonna, all you people are just gonna do what I say when I say it, and it's all gonna flow down smooth, and you're never gonna tell anyone about this. That's what these people want us to believe when they want us to believe that the NFL is rigging these games in order so that the smallest majority of them can win. They are so masochistic, all these other NFL owners, that they're going out of their way, these billionaires, to make it so that only one of them wins all the time. That's a bit of a stretch. It's hard for me to believe. Since I've been alive, the NFL has had, I don't know if that's necessarily their official motto, but it's a motto they've had, and it's protect the shield. This shield right here. That's the NFL logo. Protect the shield means they want to protect their brand. This is their logo. That is their brand. They don't have a monopoly on football. They don't have a monopoly on professional football. But according to the NFL, they offer the best brand of football. And they go out of their way in order to protect that brand. Let's take it back to the President of the United States. Not then President of the United States, but owner of a USFL team called the New Jersey Generals. This young upstart New York real estate mogul contended that the NFL was trying to monopolize professional football, and they were getting these mainstream media outlets to promote the NFL games over his league's games and his team's games. It was unfair market practices. So this young upstart New York, I don't know if he was a billionaire then or not, but businessman, real estate mogul, was taken to the NFL, and he got this group of people together, and they sued the NFL, and they won. They won. They taught the NFL a lesson. The judge awarded Donald Trump and his co-plaintiffs, I guess you would call it, $1. So whoever's palms the NFL greased to get it so they were awarded $1. The NFL lost this lawsuit, and they only had to pay $1. That is proof that the NFL will go to all lengths to protect the shield. Now, over the years, since President Trump, then Mr. Trump, sued the NFL, other people have gone down that rabbit hole as well. Not necessarily suing them, but they challenged them. Donald Trump moved on to other things, and I'm glad that he did. However, we had the XFL. We had rule changes. XFL said the NFL is getting too much rules. They wanted to make it more exciting, put cameras in the helmets, a bunch of multiple men on motion. XFL did some kind of crazy things, right? Now, was the XFL successful? No. It had to shut down. But what did the NFL do? The NFL made some rule changes. If you all remember, it was some things they did to soften up the NFL, that they brought back a little toughness to the NFL because of the XFL. And the XFL faded away. We've seen it with reviews. The NFL has done more than any other league to get it right. They've got all these referees all over the place, so you'd have to corrupt all of them. Then they got these cameras all over the place now. You know, going back to the tuck rule, the referee's excuse was that he only had one camera angle on Brady, and that's why he blew the tuck rule call. But in 99.999% of NFL games, they've got all these cameras, all these angles, because they know all their fans are watching on television. And if they blow a call, there's going to be hell to pay in the morning. There was the Heidi game where the network decided to take off the NFL game, another Raider incident, to play the movie Heidi. And the NFL fans blew up the station so much, that's the reason why your sporting events now will overlap all of their programming. It better be multiple dead people before you interrupt the sporting event. I'm telling you. Multiple. Even the Damar Hamlin thing. I mean, dude passes out on the field, and yeah, some people, not real football fans, I don't think, we're like, we got to stop the game. I was like, no! You don't stop the game because this guy, we take this man to a hospital and get him the attention he needs. But we do not stop playing this game. Why? Because when this man comes to, and I had faith that he would, when this man comes to, the first thing he's going to say is, Did we win? That's what these players get out there and fight for. And when he came due, I'll be damned. The doctor said, the very first thing he said is, did we win? So, you're telling me these guys that are going out there risking their life for a win, dude's unconscious, comes to. If the damn game was fixed, why the hell did Damar Hamlin ask, did we win? He already knew the outcome, right? Because the NFL fixes the games, right? It's all rigged, right? I'm telling you. All these reviews, all the precautions, all the medical staff, all the reviewing the penalties. Reviewing the penalties. You know what reviewing the penalties is? It's you reviewing the referees. Because the referees are supposed to make the right call. And the NFL has been the pioneer of review, going way back to ever since we could do video review. The NFL goes out of the way to get it right. Not just up into having the cameras and having them be reviewed, but now they got another team of guys, of super referees, to review the cameras there. They review every scoring play automatically. You don't got to challenge it. They review everything in the last 2 minutes automatically. You don't got to challenge it. They even came up with the whole challenge to where if the coach says that was the wrong play, then you could be like, bullshit, I'm throwing a red flag. Throwing a red flag. That's the wrong call. The NFL invented that. So you all are trying to tell me that all this stuff is fixed. It's choreographed. All the reviews, the red flag coming out, the referee arguing with the coach, all of it staged. And not a damn script has surfaced over all of these years. Not one script. Not one piece of digital media. Not one email. None of it. No evidence of this fixing has gone on, despite all of this analog and digital media and witnesses. So the NFL is so great at protecting the shield that they do all of these other things. And they're managed to do all of these other things and still have time left over to create the game scripts. And decide who's going to win. And they're doing it. Why? They're doing it so that they can show a rehashed bubblegum pop star who's dating the tight end of this team because she has a lot of fans. Hey, Taylor Swift, whatever. What's my favorite Taylor Swift song? Don't know. What's my least favorite Taylor Swift song? Don't know. I don't know any of them. I don't care. And neither do a lot of other people, especially football fans. We don't care whether Taylor Swift is at the game or not. Now, are they going to make a little bit of money? Because maybe some girls that like Taylor Swift may be a little bit more inclined to watch the game? Sure, fine. They'll take them. Is the NFL going to risk protecting the shield so they can put Taylor Swift on television? Hell no. I guarantee you this. Let Taylor Swift become toxic. Let her fall out of favor with the NFL fans. They will drop her like a hot rock. Ask Ray Rice, Super Bowl champion. What happened to him when he fell out of favor with the NFL? The NFL will move on from you instantly. They don't care. They don't care if you're a pop star. They don't care if you're a politician. They don't care if you're some sheik. The NFL is going to protect the shield. So they damn sure don't care if you're a rehashed bubblegum pop star. They don't need rehashed bubblegum pop stars to make money. Look at these ratings. There's no rehashed bubblegum pop stars in here. The NFL dominates the ratings. They dominate American television. They dominate American sports. They dominate American entertainment. The NFL does not now, nor has it ever, needed to risk the integrity of the shield in order to promote a rehashed bubblegum pop star. That's just absolutely ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. So, I don't think there's too much more I can say on this. We've seen the things the NFL has done to protect the league. The ridiculous helmets, all kinds of weird rule changes where it's like, all right, well, too many guys are getting concussions, so we're going to sacrifice that for ACL tears, and everybody gets hit in the knees. They've done all kinds of ridiculous things. I'm one of their largest critics because I'm one of their biggest fans. However, these people that think that the NFL is, as a whole, as a business model, rigging games, specifically rigging games so the Kansas City Chiefs can win because Travis Kelce is dating Taylor Swift. I think you all need to get your heads out of your asses and get them examined. Because you have problems if you believe such things. You're delusional. The goings on in your mind are incongruent with reality, my friends. So if you believe such nonsense, I suggest you get some help. And on that note, I hope you all have a great one.